Welcome back to Pat and Kid, the Holidays 2019 edition. I'm Pat McDonald, the Uber critic of Chicago.
You know, hurry up, Pat. I'm freezing my baguettes off.
Ha! Is that one or two baguettes, Ken?
And I'm Ken Candela, the movie wag.
Yes, here we are. Now, I like doing this every year. Especially with YouTube, because you know the incredible archive of material that they have. So we've been the past few years looking at the old sitcoms when they do a Christmas themed show. Right. And last couple of years also we've been doing variety shows, you know, whether it's associated with the show or not. And this time,
the Hollywood Palace.
Yeah.
From Hollywood, the heart of the entertainment world, the Hollywood Palace!
Which was a variety show on ABC. It was on Saturday nights.
Yep.
And it ran from, I'd say, the mid-'60s to the early '70s. It was a classic variety show. It had a different host, though, every week.
Yeah, which is pretty remarkable when you think about it. It was Saturday Night Live before Saturday Night Live, but it was more of the Ed Sullivan thing where they had, you know, we'll talk about an act later, but they had different kind of acts. Right. They just didn't have the same thing.
This one was hosted by Bing Crosby.
Bingo.
He brought his second family with him.
Yes, he had two.
With your host, Bing Crosby. Tonight, John Biner, Glenn Campbell, the Crosby family, the Lennon sisters.
His wife, Catherine.
Yes.
Much younger wife, Catherine.
Much younger.
His sons, Nathaniel. Harry, and Mary Catherine, his daughter.
And Harry is actually named after Bing because that's his real name. Harry
and Mary
Crosby.
Catherine, his daughter, later on went on to shoot J.R.
Shoot J.R. years later. What happened to Bing's first family?
They got beaten down. The show also starred the Lennon sisters.
The lovely Lennon sisters. That's editorially, you have to say that. A sister act, if you will.
There was a comedian / impressionist, John Biner. Who was very funny. Did a little more Bing, like Bing, blah, 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 blah.
Well, Biner and Bing were saying like really...
Biner and Bing
were saying like strange things to each other in Bing's voice.
Yeah, the pick of the pack and the pack of the pip, all packed and pip, your pleasure. You could be swinging on a star.
That was a mighty good impression. For a minute there, I thought I was a rerun.
This comedy was all rooted in Bing's, you know, sensibility. So, you know, they're talking about Hope, they're talking about Bob Hope, they're talking about
Jack Benny.
Yeah. I mean, guys,
Uncle Bob Hope.
At that point, they're all like, you know, in their 70s, you know, and not relevant to the year 1968. This is 1968. 2 assassinations, a war still going on. Nixon elected. And what do they do for the Christmas show? Bring Bing and his 20-year-old wife family.
Oh, Glenn, you shouldn't have.
Oh, yes, Bing. I didn't know what to get you. It's pretty hard to shop for a man that has everything.
Oh, well, you hit it right on the nose. A Beatles album.
They're hard to find. John Lennon's fully dressed on the cover.
This is a collector's item, then. I'm very grateful.
A very young Glenn Campbell, who's really his career was just taking off.
Taking off then. He started going solo in '66. Jimmy Webb wrote his songs, and he did Wichita Alignment on the show, which is a highlight. Yeah. With his big pompadour.
And the
sides.
Side chest pronounced apart. And Wichita Alignment is one of my favorites.
And you know, I got together with one of those Lennon sisters afterwards. You know what I'm saying? The big the bop the boop.
And I need you more than want you. And I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line.
And along with that, to add a little more variety flair to this show, they had a Russian juggler.
Well, no one speak for the horse, Ken.
I thought it was pretty amazing, and just the talent that it took. And in the context of
just
the
one of those
variety
weird
type shows,
yeah, it's a circus act, and
Right.
you know, circuses are not in fashion anymore.
Right. It almost seemed a bit out of place being on a holiday show.
Yeah.
You know, if he had been like juggling holiday wreaths or
Well, that was another thing. There was decidedly less holiday in this than most holiday shows. They had the Christmas song.
And this song applies in 3/4 time, wishes you and yours the same thing too.
I felt Bing hosting it is enough holiday for anybody.
He did sing White Christmas.
He did sing White Christmas.
With the prelim that Mel Torme wrote about sitting in old L.A. wishing for snow.
The sun is shining, the grass is green, the orange and palm trees sway. There's never been such a day in Beverly Hills, L.A.
In this YouTube version of the Hollywood Palace with Bing Crosby and his Christmas family, you had the original national commercials embedded.
And those
into
are always fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's a whole new, whole weird era of culture.
Because generally it was cigarettes, indigestion.
Yes, we just basically want to say what your favorite was. What was it?
The Raleigh cigarette
Yes.
commercial. And part of the reason is because, you know what? Raleigh's taste great, Pat.
Cigarette?
Thanks.
You're smoking Raleigh's, too. Best tasting filtered cigarette I found. And it's got a good mild taste.
And there were two men in a hardware store smoking. Is it wrong, Ken?
It is not wrong.
And one of them, Daniel J. Travanti,
From
who went on to
Hill
still the
Street.
Hill Street Blues. My favorite, along with that one, was the AC Delco commercial. It was an animated thing.
With AC, your car runs smoother, gives you more go when you really want to go.
AC, reach your car in action.
One thing that also stands out of this, as other shows that we've seen where the celebrity brings out their young children to perform, there's a certain amount of awkwardness for these kids. And
Yes, Daddy, we tried to play your records, but our machine doesn't play 78.
all right, how many holiday dollars are you going to give this?
Okay. My minimum recommendation, 2.5 out of 5. The highlight being White Christmas and Wichita Live.
I'm going to give it 3 because I'm kind of nostalgic for those old variety shows from the 60s and 70s. So I'm going to give it 3 holiday bells.
And that's
the Hollywood Palace, hosted by Bing Crosby.
the Bingle. In our next segment, the Pat and Ken the Holiday, the 2019 edition, we're going to Surreal.
Surreally, Pat?
I'd never get tired of that joke. Yes, Surreal, Ken, one of my favorite segments. We take a little film from the past, usually a kiddie matinee of some sort. This year we're going back to one we did before on the blog. It's called Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Next on Pat and Ken.
Pick of the pops and the pack of the picks, all picked and packed for your pip for your special pleasure.